What's good, y'all? Who is up today? So, yo. Who's up tonight? Yeah, man. So, I'm just going to kick it with y'all for a couple minutes here. But I'm excited. I'm happy because I got my Kumar Spirit replacement showed up. As if anybody tuned in the other day, I told you that my Kumar Spirit actually broke and stopped powering on, and I only had it for 3.5 months. I got the synthesizer from perfectcircuit.com that's out there in Burbank, California. And I realized they have a really great extended warranty on the product. Luckily for me, so I'm glad I bought it from them. And I shipped off the broken one, and they sent me a brand new one that works perfectly. It's in perfect working order. And I'm so happy that it showed up because, again, if you know anything about the Kumar Spirit analog synthesizer, it's a super rare synthesizer, and they've only made a couple hundred reissues. It's actually a keyboard that's from the 80s that was used by people like Duran Duran and, all the big 80s people a lot of them had one of these in the studio. And they did remakes of this particular keyboard for 2023 and 2024. So Perfect Circuit was kind enough to send me a 2024 reissue. The original one I bought was actually a 2023 reissue. So it's pretty dope that they actually sent me a 2024 reissue. Maybe there's probably a less chance that anything will go wrong with it. Who knows? Maybe the previous version it was just in the box for too long and something. Maybe it just, sometimes stuff can be in the box for too long and just a component goes bad or a fuse box goes bad. So, but yeah, again, that had never happened to me with any other keyboards. But as you can see, there it is. It's that keyboard right there. It has that beautiful look to it. So yeah, man, I'm going to show it off real quick. I'm very proud of the keyboards that I have because, it took a long time to really get stuff like this. You know what I mean? So y'all see that? That's the Kumar Spirit right there. Y'all can see that. So y'all, that's a $4,300 synthesizer. So you know what I mean? It's definitely a big investment. So I'm happy to have it back and have it back in the kitchen with me so I can have my little sparkle waters and go to work. I love making beats in the kitchen because I got the view and stuff with the window. So you know what I mean? So that's how I like to do it. But happy to have it back. It works great. And I almost think that it sounds a little bit better than the first one that I got, but maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But so I already started using it again. I have a beat that's going to drop tomorrow on Saturday with the Kumar Spirit back in action. So, I got a little bit of nasty bass line that I'm playing on there that you're gonna see that tomorrow. But yeah, man, it doesn't seem like too many people are up right now. Hey, if you're up, say something, say what up. But yeah, man, besides that, just, you know what I mean? Just working on more hits, working on more lyrics. I'm still a songwriter, y'all. So I'm not just a beat maker. I still write these songs, you know what I mean? So I'm writing lyrics. I'm writing another song today, you know what I mean? Hit the gym, you know what I mean? Musicians, make sure you hit that gym. You know what I mean? I'm in my 40s, y'all. And nobody believes me usually, you know what I mean? So, and I attribute that to drinking a lot of water and doing the gym. It's, you don't have to be Mr. Six Pack. You just take care of yourself. You know what I mean? That's important. Just do the best that you can be the best that you can, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so I'm super happy to have the Kumar Spirit analog mono synth back. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel blessed in order to be able to do this. You know what I mean? It's a blessing to be able to do this music. I never take it for granted. And I'm just a real person, man. And I'm just grateful. I take my daily walks, and I see people that are not, always so fortunate. And it just makes me think, you know what I mean? Just no matter what you're going through in life, your situation could always be worse. And, even for the people that I see or even the homeless people that I see, it's like, even those people have something to be grateful for. You know what I mean? Even if you're living in your car, you still have something to be grateful for. I think sometimes a lot of people forget to me, the most important thing about life is how people feel. And, some people could argue me on this, but life, the quality of your life is really based on how you feel. You know what I mean? So no matter what you're doing, if you always feel like trash or something, your spirit's not right, you can just say your spirit's not right. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. If your spirit's not right, if you're not good inside, if you ain't good, still good. No, if you ain't good inside, nothing else will really matter. So I think a lot of people let their spirit kind of, they don't pay attention to their spirit, and they wonder why nothing makes them happy. You know what I mean? So I think happiness is, really the most important thing in life. And I mean true happiness. I don't mean chasing like, stuff that's not good for you. I mean like true happiness, like real, authentic happiness from, the kind of happiness you get, when you see your kids being born, that kind of happiness, like true, pure happiness, not debauchery happiness where you're causing harm to people, not that kind of stuff, but true happiness. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just grateful to do this music, and a couple people watching. Say what up. You scared of T-Sway? Come on, say what up. You know what I mean? This might be a bit too late for most of the people that watch me. I got a lot of people that watch me that are on the East Coast or in the dirty, and might be bedtime for those people, because a lot of my fans are probably, they're probably late 20s, 30s, and they got jobs, and, they got to wake up early. So I respect that. But I'm not really a big morning person. So, I tend to be up at night making music and whatnot, and that kind of stuff. But that's it. I just wanted to tell you guys that I got the new synthesizer came through. If you happen to give a F, and I'm back in business. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to be $4,300 in the hole, but I guess not. I got a brand new one and got that extended warranty. Sorry about that. Somebody's speeding out there. I'm on the 7th floor, so they must have been pretty loud. But yeah, y'all. So that's about it, man. So I'm going to keep on working, stay inspired. And I'm going to keep on getting more synthesizers, you know what I mean? So I got my eyes on another synthesizer called the Magnolia synthesizer. It's actually another keyboard from Italy. So the Kumar is a Italian keyboard, and the Magnolia is another Italian keyboard. So maybe I'm onto something. I haven't heard about anything new coming from Sequential, so I'm kind of sad about that. Rest in peace, Dave Smith. But I tend to buy their stuff every year, but I haven't seen anything new drop since the Trigon 6 and the Take 5 were the last keyboards that I heard from them. So hopefully they're putting together something new. I know it might be more difficult because they don't got Dave. Dave was the visionary. He was he was the heart of the company and the founder of it. So, hopefully they're able to come back with something. But of course, I got my Prophet 6 right there, and I'm always going to have a sequential synthesizer in the studio. I do sell some of them time to time because I want to try out new stuff, but I always got to keep at least one sequential because Dave Smith, anything that he worked on was always brilliant. So I got my Prophet 6. I got that, and that's my go-to synth right now. You can see it in most of my beat videos. I'm pretty much using that all the time. You know what I mean? So that's about it, y'all. So, but man, I'm just here chilling that night. You know what I mean? Just thinking about more music to work on. So, any musicians watching this, or a lot of y'all tend to catch me on the playback because I just live stream at random. I kind of just live stream when I have something to say, and then I get off. I get offline. But yeah, if you catch me on the playback, you know what it is. But shoot, man, I just got more music that I'm working on. Spotify is doing really well right now. The playlist, I got playlists on there going crazy right now, like getting crazy numbers. So my streams have doubled, tripled, and the checks are getting a little bigger. You gotta get a lot of streams to make decent money from Spotify, but the streams are doubling and tripling. So the money's getting a bit bigger, which is cool. And I know a lot of artists, that I help, are a lot of artists that even buy tracks from me. They struggle to get decent streams, and I'm always telling everybody I can help with that. If you have a dope record that's R&B, send it to my email, tonysway1@gmail.com, and I'll see what I can do for you, because you can't get around it. This day and age, you got to get your streams. If you're not getting any streams on your music, I mean, it's like it's almost like you don't exist. You know what I mean? And there's nothing worse than being a musician that nobody hears. You could be great, but then if nobody hears you, nobody gets to know that you're great. You know what I mean? So you got to be heard. And I've created avenues on Spotify where you can be guaranteed heard. If you got a hot record, a lot of people send me trash records and I don't even reply. I don't send trash to my email. But if you have a really great song, and you've actually asked other people to confirm that it's great, make sure you send that over, because I am putting people on some of these playlists, and they're getting their streams up, and they're going way over the 1,000 streams. And because you got to hit that 1,000 stream threshold to get paid on there now. So I'm making sure people are hitting that threshold so they can get their royalties, and that's very important for me and for people that need it. So, but yeah, man. So that's where it is right now. Music is all about that, being on the best playlist. That's where we're at. We've been there now for a good part of like 10 years. It's really been all about this playlist, and it continues to be that way. It's all about being on the right playlist. So you got, artists, musicians, you got to stay on that. Make sure you are on the right playlist, and you're networking with the right people to get your music on there. And make sure you're staying on your social media. Make sure you're posting on your TikTok and your Instagram, and make sure you're holding down that social media, because when you go outside, what are most people doing? Most people are on their phones, and there's no way we can escape that. Most people are on their phones, and so they're listening to music on their phone. They're watching YouTube videos. They're watching TikTok videos on their phones. They're watching Instagram Reels on their phones, and people are just locked into that world. So as musicians, we have to stay up on that technology, or nobody's going to hear us. And that's just the way it is. So, I'm happy to say that I've reached hundreds of millions of people, which is a blessing. You know what I mean? It would be nice if it was hundreds of millions of dollars. Hopefully that gets fixed. Hopefully they start paying, artists more money for their streams. Nevertheless, they still pay something. So if you are getting a lot of streams, you can make a decent living off of that. And of course you can tour from that. And I never really went on tour because I produce a lot more. But again, if you're hitting the market, and what your fan base is, obviously you can tour, even just based on your streams. You can you could look at your Spotify for artist page and see where the majority of your streams are coming from, and then and go set up shows in those particular areas where you have the most fans. If if you're getting a lot, I mean, if you're getting a couple plays, I mean, but I'm saying, for the people that are getting a considerable amount of plays, you can tour the areas where you're getting the most traffic, and that could be, beneficial. Unless, somebody might be at their mama's house pressing play over and over again, running up your numbers, but it's just that one person just pressing it, and it ain't no real fans. So yeah, let's hope it's not that. But yeah, and some of y'all be getting on those botted playlists. Don't be doing that, because they delete albums now. They're deleting singles and albums. So don't get on no fake stuff. Or if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Be careful with that. But I have tried and tested playlists that I've been managing for the better part of about 9 years, that I created specifically for R&B music. And they've gradually built a following over the years, slowly, and kind of steamrolled into, a decent amount of people that tend to listen organically, you know what I mean? So that's why my music is still online, because I ain't using that fake botted stuff. So it's just real R&B fans somewhere out there that like the music. And they reach out to me on Instagram, and they DM me, and they say, "Hey, I discovered your music on your Spotify playlist, and we had a baby to your." I get all kinds of messages, people having kids to, my beats, and then telling me about it, saying that we found your Spotify playlist, and I get all kinds of cool messages from people that I appreciate. You know what I mean? So these playlists, they definitely get your music out there. We live in a new world where, the days of being able to, sell your CD in the streets are pretty much, it's not a thing anymore. I mean, there might be somebody out in Timbuktu that's still trying that, but the reality is, if, you're trying to reach the younger, somewhat of a younger fan base, like people in their 20s and that kind of stuff. A lot of them never even touched a CD player. So it's like, it's just a different time, like you can't even go to a normal store and get a CD, and you got to go to like some kind of specialty boutique store downtown that still has CDs. But, and then the demographic is going to be people that are a lot older. And even the older people are not really, playing CDs like they used to, because they have phones too. They're deciding to connect their Spotify radio to, through Wi-Fi, and listen, people are just, we live in a different generation. So, I do miss CDs and the album generation, but, that's not where we're at anymore. So you got to figure out how to get your music where the people are. If you're not where the people are, you're not going to be heard. And that's, that's just the reality. So, but it looks like not many people, there's a couple people watching, but y'all ain't saying much. So what's good? I can't pronounce the name. P, I'll just say P Money. Are you using a Yamaha DX7? So I have a Yamaha CP73. And it has DX7 on there. So it has DX7 presets. So yeah, CP73, it comes with DX7 presets, DX7 layered, different layers, you know what I mean? So Yamaha's the ish, man. What's good, Chauncey Sway? It's been a minute, bro. Hope you're well. But yeah, the Yamaha CP73, which you can see, it's right there. It's the bottom one. Man, that keyboard is the truth, bro. You can do all kind of, Devontae Swing, Jodeci, 90s. It has all that 90s, those 90s presets that I particularly love on that keyboard. The DX7 sound presets. It's like they have like a kaleidoscope lead that they used to use in like Keith Sweat songs, and like Marcus Houston or Immature IMX songs. And, it has a lot of those sounds, and I absolutely love it. So, and it has, those classic, CP Yamaha sounds that were used by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, So it's the Yamaha CP73. Yep. You want to go ahead and check that out, man. That's the one I have. It has the keys are weighted as well. It has weighted keys, and man, you can get it on reverb.com. If you just want to get it secondhand, what you're going to get, I got mine secondhand for like 1,750, something like that. But brand new, it's going to run you around 2,000 plus. But yeah, I got mine because I just went directly to one of the local music shops, and I never had it in my head to even buy the keyboard. I never even had it in my head to even buy it. I just walked into it's a store called Music 6000, local store. And I walked in, I was like, let me try this out, put the headphones on. And I was like, whoa, the piano sounds that I heard on there, the best piano sounds I've ever heard on a keyboard, best Rhodes sounds, some of the best pads and strings. And best, like, it has really great acoustic guitar. And I was like, man, you know what? I probably should buy this. So I just, I went over to the bank and got a couple dollars out and, paid cash for it. You know what I mean? Luckily, I had the money. So I just grabbed it. You know what I mean? So it's totally worth it. I totally recommend that keyboard, or swipe that credit card if you have to. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do. It's definitely worth the investment. Shanti Sway. Yeah, MX61. Yeah, I heard about that, bro. That's what's up, man. I definitely want to hear some stuff from you. I appreciate that. I'll never find another you. Yeah, that's from my Summer Love album. Yeah, so if you know anything about me, I'm a big fan of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis production. I'm always basically crediting them for being a huge influence on me in general. So I didn't necessarily sample that song, but it's in that key, which is so many songs of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis productions are in that same key. You can just call it the Tender Love key. So yeah, it's in that same key, but it wasn't a remake or a replay, but it has a couple chords. Some of the chords are the same, but I made, I just did my own thing, but there's definitely a couple chords in there that are going to match it for sure. Oh, there is no sample of the song on there whatsoever. I made that keyboard. I played every sound from my Roland Phantom XA. I no longer have that keyboard anymore, but I had a Roland Phantom XA, and I played every song every sound, all the stems I played in Pro Tools. I programmed the drums with the MPC 2000, and I recorded the vocals with my one of my MXL microphones, and it was just all vocals from me, all keyboard sounds from me. So no sample, but I take that as a compliment. If it sounds like there's a sample in there, I take that as a compliment, because I was definitely trying to put that feel of a Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis in that song. I was definitely trying to make it feel like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it has a similar, I wouldn't say same chord progression, because it isn't. It's like their chord progression was. So I'm using some of the chords, some of the same chords, but it's definitely like a different progression. Theirs goes into a completely different, like it goes into a different thing. So but yes, it's in that key, and it shares a few of the same chords, but not enough to really say that it's, I can't say that I wasn't necessarily going for that. But funny you say that. I was actually going for more of a Come Back to Me, which again, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, like, they love to use the same keys a lot on their songs. So my actually favorite song, one of my top 5 favorite songs, is Janet Jackson Come Back to Me, which also happens to be in a similar key as Tender Love. So that's what I was actually going for, is the Come Back to Me. Uh, yeah, and they have so many songs in that key. Come Back to Me, Tender Love. Um, there's that's just one of their favorite keys that they like to use, and I love that key. Also, I'll Be Sure, Naturally Mine has some of those same chords. You know what I mean? And it's a certain key that just works really well with particular R&B songs. You know, so like Frankie J, Don't Want to Try also uses that register as well. There's just a lot of great R&B songs that are in that key. And I'm gonna call it officially the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis key, because they really made that particular key famous in my eyes. And so man, so yeah, I listen to their production every day. Chauncey Sway. How many keyboards do I have right now? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 keyboards right now. I sold a lot of my old ones because I get tired of stuff. I can get tired. I like to renovate my studio every couple years and try new sounds. So I have 4 synthesizers and 2 drum machines right now. Oh yeah, I'm always producing for other people. My most recent successful production is Cookie Kawaii Vibe, and then Cookie Kawaii Vibe featuring Tyga. The original version went gold. So the original version of Cookie Kawaii went gold. So I produced that along with another producer, Trill Val. And then I'm also producing a lot of independent artists. Like check out Trav Torch. You can see Trav Torch on a lot of my playlists. He has a video with I think about 40 million plays. So he's really kind of blowing up on the underground R&B scene. And we have one of my favorite records that we did is called Do It Again. I think that has about 700,000 streams on it already. So, you know, I'm doing a lot of production. I produced a lot of stuff for Crazy Bone. You can check out Crazy Bone, Let Me Learn. I produced that record. That's on the official Bone Thugs and Harmony YouTube. So yeah, check that out. That's probably one of my favorite productions that I've done for somebody in the last 10 years. 100%. Like, I love that. That record is a really deep record. So make sure you check out Crazy Bone, Let Me Learn. He actually kept the same title of, like, that's what I named the beat. I named the beat Let Me Learn. I sent it to him. He actually kept the same title, and he was able to make a song based on what the title of the beat, which was super dope. So shout out to Crazy Bone, man. Real dude, super cool, super humble. And he showed me a lot of love. And we have another record recently that came out. Our most recent record came out 2023, and it's called Can't Let Go. And he put my production credits in the video, which is super dope of him, because a lot of artists don't do that anymore. A lot of artists don't want to mention who produced the track. And he's like a legend, and he literally gave me shine and put produced by Tony Sway. And he made sure I got my points on the record and stuff. Like, he released it through DistroKid, and he gave me my points on the record. And, you know, he was a great person, man. So shout out to Crazy Bone, man. Like, much love to Crazy Bone. You know, he's absolute legend, legendary Bone Thugs. I don't get on live that much, bro, but you know, I should. I'm trying to do it more often. But yeah, check out Crazy Bone, Let Me Learn. That's produced by me. Check out Crazy Bone, Can't Let Go. That's produced by me. Yeah, man. So shout out to Crazy Bone. There's more records than that. I got a few more records that I've produced over the years that slip in my mind right now. But I've actually worked with the legendary I'll Be Sure. I did a remake of Night and Day with him and his son Quincy. So that's pretty cool as well. And then, man, I've been blessed to work with a couple legendary people that I'm really grateful for. Like I said, I got a record with Tyga as well. That was a blessing, which is the Cookie Kawaii song featuring Tyga. And then, man, I'm just on my humble grind, you know, just trying to do my best. You know what I mean? And Frankie J, can't forget Frankie J. Frankie J was pretty much my first big artist that I've ever worked with. And I got a bunch of records with him. Finish What We Started. Why Can't We Fall in Love? Say I Do. a bunch of records, independent records, but you can definitely check them out on Spotify. Check out Frankie J, Finish What We Started. That's probably the best one out of everything that I've done with him. That one got a lot of love. He played it on radio. It got a lot of love and stuff. I'll be short. I'm not related to him that I know of, but he's a friend of mine. So I met I'll Be Sure through his son, Quincy. Quincy is a good friend of mine. I started producing Quincy in 2010. I produced his first music release, or his first single release was a song called Words From Me. I produced the beat, and I produced the beat for that. And from there, I started flying out to the, well, I'll be just straight up honest. He started flying me down to the mansion that they were at, which was, I believe, owned by Diddy. It was out there in LA, and Diddy was around too. I didn't talk to him, but so I met Quincy, and then Quincy introduced me to I'll Be Sure, and we did the remake of Night and Day with all them together. But no, I'm not related to him that I know of. Maybe. I mean, you never know, but I'm just a light-skinned dude with curly hair, so I guess there's definitely some similarities. You know what I mean? So for sure. Yeah, but shout out to I'll Be Sure though. Yeah, he's an absolute legend. And I keep his LP, the albums around. I keep these albums around to make sure that I stay inspired and always try to strive for greatness. And these are the albums that inspired me to really do this music. So I keep them nearby the keyboards so I can, always try to strive for greatness, man. I got that. I got Thriller in the corner. You know what I mean? I got Mariah Carey on the wall. I just try to keep, great artists around in the studio that I can look at their classic albums and try to strive for that same kind of greatness. You know what I mean? Or at least get close, or even just a squidget of that greatness on what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So that's about it, bro. But yeah, man. So I appreciate you guys kicking it with me. Yeah. So you sing then, P Money. If I need work done, where do I hit you up? Yeah, you just email tonysway1@gmail.com, or you can head on over to tonyswaymusic.com. If you're searching for beats, head on over to tonyswaymusic.com. I got buy one, get 19 free on all beat leases. But if you need something more specific, just hit me up at tonysway1@gmail.com and let me know what you're looking for. Appreciate that, Chauncey Sway. Yeah, man. So just try to stay consistent with these beats, and that's about it, bro. Just trying to stay consistent with these beats, and who knows when the next big hit is gonna happen. They just, no, it's hard to predict when something is going to blow up again. But I'm always striving to just make more great music, and if something takes off, then that's perfect. I just try to personally, me, I just can't stop making music. It's in my heart, and I just have to keep making it. It's it's like a compulsion. I have to keep creating it in order to, it helps me survive. Just to keep creating, I need that outlet. I got to keep creating and trying to make interesting art. You know what I mean? So that's what I live for, man. And it's in the bloodline as well. My grandpa is a famous jazz musician, Sonny Simmons, and my dad played drums for a long time. So I come from a very musical family. So I really can't escape the music. It's just in the bloodline, and I'm going to continue to do it, man. And I've been in this game of music now, posting my stuff online for the better part of I'm coming up on about maybe 18 years of posting my music on YouTube and MySpace. And well, MySpace is kind of over with, but Probably about 16, maybe 16 years on YouTube, but 18 years in total if I count the MySpace years. So, and Chauncey, you know, man, you've been with me since the MySpace era, since like 2010, 2000, actually 2009 maybe. So yeah, man, I just try to stay consistent and just keep putting out this music and trying to get all the new keyboards. Anytime a new keyboard comes out, I try to get that because I like to stay up on the new sounds and I just like to stay fresh and just try to discover new sounds, man, new synthesizer sounds and all that, so. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I've been doing a lot of traveling as well. I've been actually living back and forth between America and the UK because my wife is from the UK. So I have a wife and son, and actually been back and forth from America and the UK for the last 3.5 years, to be honest. So in the last 3 years, I've spent a year and a half out in the UK. So, I've been living out there, then living back here, then living out there, then living back here. So, you know what I mean? It's cool. It's a cool life, nomadic lifestyle. I just travel with my equipment and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be dope to meet Craig David. I definitely admire his work. That first album that he dropped is an absolute classic. Can you feel me in? All those records, Fill Me In, and Monday, take a fucking day on Tuesday. We making love on Wednesday. Yeah, so he had those classic records. You know what I mean? Yeah, so shout out to Craig David, man. It would be nice to definitely do some production with him. Yeah, back in the day, my grandma was like, she goes, "You look like this guy on TV, this guy named Craig," and I'm like, okay, thank you, Grandma. So I used to get compared to him when I was a little younger back in the day, Craig David. Yeah, man. But shout out to Craig David, man. Another legend in the R&B space. He really actually kind of was one of the first R&B people in the early 2000s to have like a really big R&B album for the early 2000s. We're talking like those first couple years of the 2000s. Even before Usher's Confessions came out, like Craig David, I think that came out. Yeah, Craig David, that album Born to Do It came out before that, and it had like the Fill Me In, and that album was like big. Like he even had Sting. He had Sting on the album too. So if you got Sting on the album, you got to be on a high level. You know what I mean? Because Sting, he's like a serious musician. Shout out to Sting. Yeah. Well, my wife is, she's, well, we haven't recorded in a while. We've kind of been focused on her. I have my son and that kind of stuff. So we've been kind of more I've been having her more focus on, being a mom, and that's what she enjoys. She likes being a mom. So we kind of peeled back from recording a little bit, but we're definitely going to get back into it. He's getting a little older now. So we're going to have a little bit more time because he's going to be full-time in school. So we'll have a little bit more time to actually record pretty soon. But, I'm always locked up making beats and stuff like that. And she stays busy, helping our son and doing all the stuff that, that you got to do when you got kids and stuff like that. So, yes, sir. Craig David is dope. Appreciate that, Chauncey. Yeah, man. So that's just what it is, man. So just making new music and just trying to be the best that I can be. And I'm just trying to stay up on times as well. I mean, live streaming, this is, somewhat new to me, but I know this is how people connect. People like to connect live and kind of just chill and be in this, be in the room be on screen at the same time. That's the generation that we live in now. It's amazing that we can sit and connect with, the people that we like to, watch online and just, be able to chat with them and support what they do. So I'm trying to take advantage of that and make sure that I stay connected with you guys and, make sure that we stay connected, and you know what I mean? Because I like to be on here and chop it up with everybody, and I appreciate everyone, and you know what I mean. Yeah, so man, that's about it. I'm starting to feel a little tired now. This is a little late for my live stream, later than normal, but I appreciate you guys kicking it with me. And shoot, if you want to support what I do, you know what I mean? Just make sure you drop a super chat if you rock with what I'm doing so I can keep the lights on. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm definitely going to live stream more, man. For sure. And I'm always recording my beats. You can see that on on my YouTube. There, I'm always recording my beats and playing keys for you guys on my beat videos. Literally producing. I have like hundreds of beat videos where I'm producing live. I'm literally making the beat live. I'm just not talking. You just hear the audio going through Pro Tools, so you don't hear me talk. But you can get all these beat videos live, where I'm literally like producing the beats on camera. You can check out my playlist on my YouTube right now, making beats in the studio, making beats. It's on my playlist. If you just go to my page, it says live beat making videos, and I'm just producing stuff just live on camera, and so you might enjoy that. My last live stream, I played the piano for everybody, so you might enjoy that. What's good, Compton June? I appreciate you, brother. The Wolf, T Sway, love, bro. Appreciate you, Wolf. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. You guys caught me at the end of the stream. Hey, Wolf, I appreciate the super chat, bro. That means a lot to me, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make this music for everybody, and just trying to do the best I can to bring you guys the best music possible. And any support that you guys, whether it's any support, whether it's buying a beat from me, or whether it's liking the video or dropping a super chat, any kind of support is greatly appreciated, because it helps me keep the lights on. It helps me keep little man fed. It helps me make sure wife's good, and helps me make sure that I have a place to make my beats, that I have a studio to keep doing this. So, much love, and shout out to Wolf, man. I appreciate you. And, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to keep this music going for y'all. And, you know what I mean? And I definitely want to chop it up with everybody more often on these lives, and, really show love and connect with the people that watch my content more. And, you guys are like family to me. I'm a real friendly person. And, if you ever see me outside, just say what's up. You know what I mean? Like, I like to meet everybody, you know what I mean? So I'm out, towards Seattle, out those ways. So if you're ever out near Seattle, or, say something, you know what I mean? Maybe, whatever. I like to meet my people that, that rock with me, you know what I mean? So I'm a real approachable person, you know what I mean? So, man, that's about it. What is everybody doing at this time? Anybody got to wake up real early? I know where I'm at is 10:02. So I know Compton, I know you in Cali. So I know your time's probably the same as mine. Yeah, man. So I got a lot of peoples out there, and I used to actually lived out in San Mateo and Foster City with my homie for a while. So yeah, so I lived in California. I lived all over California, bro. I lived in Benicia, California. I lived in Vacaville, California. I lived in Citrus Heights, California. I lived in San Mateo and Foster City at one point. Now there were short little periods, like a year, a couple years, 2-3 months, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, but man, I actually really miss California. I really do. Okay, Wolf, that's where you're at. You're out in Cali right now. Nice, man. Yeah. So I don't live out there anymore, but I definitely miss the California vibes. I pretty much stayed around the Bay Area. So all those places are, either Bay Area or close by. I was out in LA maybe just for a couple days. So I didn't really spend too much time in LA, but I was more so in the Bay Area for the most part. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, but I miss Cali. I miss Cali like crazy. I got a lot of people out there as well that just good friends and stuff that I used to make music with that are more so they, they're older now and they got their families back. I've been doing music for a long time. So I made a lot of music with people out there and they everybody kind of just grows up and you know they sometimes they move on and they're not really doing music like that anymore. But sometimes I miss those days, you know what I mean, where you got all your people and you're having like a writing session at somebody's house or something, and you got all your homies and maybe a couple homegirls, and everybody's kind of just collabing on ideas. And but that's what I used to do when I lived out in Cali, man. So it was good times. And I used to roll also when I would go around in LA. Me and Quincy would kick it, and we would have a couple people with us. Of course, Al B. Sure was with us one of the times. We just vibe out in the studio, and everybody's just kind of vibing and just listening to beats all day. And so shout out to Quincy, man. So those were good times, but it was actually quite a while ago now. I haven't been out to LA for like 8-9 years, so it's been a minute. Yeah, I definitely did music with A1. Yeah, I did music with A1. He's still good. He's still doing well. Yeah, but we haven't produced anything together in a long time. But yeah, me and A1 had a lot of beats together. So shout out to A1. He's kind of more so switched career paths now. You know what I mean? But at least last time I talked to him, he said he has different things that he's doing. But we definitely had some dope, crazy songs back in the day, some crazy beats that a lot of people liked. A lot of people also purchased those and leased those on SoundClick. If anybody remembers SoundClick, that was where I got my start actually putting my music out, was my SoundClick page. And A1 really encouraged me to actually put my beats out and produce other artists. And at first I was kind of reluctant because I just wanted to produce myself and I wanted to produce my group, my duo group, the R&B Smooth. But A1 was like, hey, you should produce other people. And I was like, okay. So I started putting my instrumentals out to see if other artists might like it. And then I started getting, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different 8, 9, 10 different artists every month actually saying, hey, I want to buy this beat. I want to buy this beat. And so then that's how I started producing other people online, really. I always produced other artists in person and locally, but that was the first time I was actually, I actually kind of figured out that you can produce people through email. And that was all new to me. So I was sending files and to different artists worldwide, which was crazy to me. And, it's what I do to this day. You know what I mean? And sometimes I link up with people in person. Sometimes I'm not able to, but the magic of the internet, you can just kind of reach people all over the world. I'm producing people all the way out in Australia to Japan to London to, somewhere I got people that buy tracks out in the Saudi, like the Dubai. Like there's people that's bought tracks out in Dubai from me. You know what I mean? So kind of producing worldwide. I haven't met a lot of these people, but they send me the records and what they do to the tracks, which is crazy. And man, so I can only be grateful at this point. I'm super grateful to continue to do this. And with your guys' support, I'm only gonna try to go as far as possible. I'm gonna continue to just strive to keep making more and more music. And so I truly appreciate everybody rocking with me. This journey hasn't been easy by any means. It hasn't been cheap by any means. Somebody like me, I've put a lot of money back into the studio equipment, and I've taken losses on it as well, where sometimes you invest a lot and then it doesn't pay off right away, and then your money kind of gets squeezed a little bit, but then a record takes off, or I've had a couple situations where I've sold I've sold some of the rights to songs in my catalog and got like, big payouts for the rights of like, I have certain songs that's done well for me that I decided to let go of because maybe they weren't performing as much royalty wise. And then I've had companies buy some of those songs out from my catalog. So they collect royalties on some of my big songs, but they've paid me like, decent amount of money for those records where I'm like, oh, boom, like somebody gives you like, a year's worth of income for one record. And so that's something that I've done as well to kind of deal with some of the losses that naturally happen when you're trying to do this music, because you might have a hot record for 1 year, a couple years, and then that record dims down, and then those royalties kind of dry up. Or you might have a good year where you're selling beats online, and then the next year sometimes that might dry up a little bit. So then you got to try to come up with a different strategy to keep the music to continue to make a living from it. But I'm blessed. I'm still here. I got great people like you guys that still rock with me, which I truly appreciate. And I'm still here in 2025, and you guys are here too. And we made it to 2025, and it's a blessing, man. And I'm really happy to be in the position that I'm in. I get to make beats every day, record and make beats every day. And, it's an amazing feeling to be in that position, man. And I never take it for granted. You know what I mean? So I can't wait for you guys to see what's next. I got so many ideas and so many things that I want to do that I'm currently working on. And, man, I'm just going to keep going, man. I just have this drive in me to just keep doing this. And that's just what it is. So I really appreciate everybody kicking it here with me late night. It's 10, 11 where I'm at, and man, so I'm definitely going to be live streaming with y'all more. And, so yeah, that pretty much sums up this live stream. So, we did about 52 minutes today. I truly appreciate everybody here kicking it with me. Shout out to you, Chauncey. Shout out to Wolf. Shout out to Compton June. You know what I mean? Shout out to P Money. Shout out to everybody that kicked it here with me today. And even the people that, even the people that didn't say anything, shout out to y'all. I appreciate you guys liking the video. And, make sure you like the video so my live streams get out to more people. And, if you want to support what I do, you can always head over to TonySwayMusic.com and grab some of my latest tracks. Or you can drop a super chat like my man Wolf. That was really dope of him to do that. I truly appreciate any kind of support. And it's because of people like you guys that I'm still able to do this music. And it's truly a blessing. So, man, you guys have an amazing night. And I can't wait to chop it up with everybody again. Y'all stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of this summer. Stay blessed. I love y'all. Peace.